Good morning. This is a vibrant and busy time at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin. So before we formally begin our worship service, we invite you to lend your attention to a few brief announcements that'll let you know about some ways you can get involved here at church. On each Sunday, we light candles in the sanctuary and along the windows to mark sacred moments in our lives. Although we will have a short time set aside during the music for meditation in our service, we also highly encourage you to light candles during the prelude or the postlude to allow ample time for everyone who wishes to express what is in their heart to be able to do so during the service. Please join us on November 1st at 5 p.m. for a fundraiser sponsored by our Social Justice Committee called Empty Bowls. The event benefits the organization Bike Across Borders, where folks bicycle to Mexico and then donate their bicycles to the local labor leaders to help them organize. It's a great cause and a really fun night. In an act of solidarity, we have started collecting food and soliciting donations for the Central Texas Food Bank. You can bring your donations to House and Hall and make a donation using the QR code and links to the Central Texas Food Bank provided in the newsletter and in signs around the church. Please refer to the list of most requested items, and please, out of the spirit of love and respect, do not donate expired items. Want to paint a rainbow? November 1st is our work day, and we are going to spruce up our campus and paint a rainbow crosswalk. Work will start at 8:30 with lunch at noon. Don't want to paint? No problem. We need volunteers to help clean up the garden beds too. Bring your shears and/or loppers, maybe some gloves. Either way, make sure to sign up for dietary preferences. Interested in being a facilitator or just looking to pick up skills? Join Rev Carey and Leo Collis for a facilitator training on November 8th. More information is in the newsletter. And finally, each Sunday, one of our caring companions is designated to be available at the front of the sanctuary after the service to listen to any immediate pastoral needs and assist you with connecting to additional pastoral support if you would like. Today's caring companion is Evelyn Blackwelder. Evelyn, could you raise your hand or stand up and let us know where you are? Oh, Beverly? Oh, Beverly Tolbert. Now, let all who have gathered in beloved community, whether in virtual space or in person, join our spirits in worship together.
Good morning. Whether you're joining us online or you're here in the sanctuary, welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin. We are a spiritual community dedicated to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning and beauty. I'm Reverend Carrie Holly Hurt. I'm the assistant minister here. I'm a white woman in my mid to late 40s, with blondish hair, and today I am dressed as my inner child. There she is. So I'm wearing a Burger King crown and my brown boots, my blue robe, and my red stole. And I don't want to insult your intelligence, but clearly she is Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. So I am my inner child channeling Linda Carter, who is channeling Wonder Woman. It's very meta today, always high concept here. I especially want to welcome you if you're here for the first time to this congregation. If you're joining us remotely and if it's available to you, please let us know where you're here and say hello. If you're here in person, please join us after worship. We're going to have a lot of Halloween fun, so come make it back to Housen Hall. Either way, if you are new, we invite you to fill out the new visitors form, which is on austinuu.org. Just click on worship, which will lead you to a link to the form. We would really love to know you better. And because this is an all-ages service, I want to welcome the kids who are here, and they're going to stay for the whole service. We hope you enjoy it. It's going to be about play. And we know that when you're sitting for a long time, things can get a little, so please wiggle, fidget. If you need a fidget, there's some back there, and there are masks that you can decorate too. Because here, everybody is welcome. Every path and beginning, every age, every beautiful expression of the human flowering. All pronouns, all the ways and ones we love, all abilities or disabilities, each and every one of you, you're welcome here. Now, we come from a long tradition of sensing the ocean of divine love that flows through each of us. It is in that tradition that I invite you to say hello to your neighbor. Now let's greet the holy among us.
Good morning. My name is Mary Overton. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman of a certain age with gray hair. And today I am wearing, for the final Sunday, my Living Love shirt and my red heart sunglasses and my red bandana. And that's because I'm the chair of our stewardship committee. Yeah. And I'm lay leader today. So please join me in the words by which we light our chalice. This is the flame we hold in our hearts as we strive for justice for everyone. This is the light we shine upon systems of oppression until they are no more. This is the warmth we share with one another as our struggle becomes our salvation. Our call to worship this morning is a 17th century proverb that was made famous by Jack Nicholson. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So now, please rise in body or spirit and let us sing together hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Thank you for playing with us. That was fun. One of the things, other than fun, that binds us together as a religious community is that this congregation has a common purpose. And here, our common purpose is our mission. We wrote it on the wall so that we can say it together. And we say it because we want all of us to carry that in our heart throughout the week when we're away from one another. Let's say it together, shall we? Together, we nourish souls, transform lives, and do justice to build the beloved community.
everybody. My name is Sol. I am a small white human with short blue hair. Today, I am also a wolf. So, we have come to the Time for All Ages in our very special service today. I will invite folks who want to join me up here because we have some delicate equipment going on. We're just going to gather on the tiles today. Okay. So we've got a very cool game/exercise today. It's going to involve all of us, but if you would like to come up here, you are more than welcome. Now's the time. Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Howdy. Okay. So what we're going to do today is actually a variation on a theater activity, because theater is one of my personal favorite forms of play. So in that spirit, we're going to start with a little theater-style warm-up. We're going to be moving our bodies a little bit, and we're going to be using our voices. So just to get us loose and ready for that, I'm going to have us turn to a neighbor and answer a quick question. We'll have 30 seconds for one person, 30 for the other. I'll let you know when it's been about 30 and 30. Our question is, are you feeling more like a bat or an owl today? That can mean whatever you want it to be. Interpret that as you will. All right, I'll give you 30 seconds. Let's see. Do we feel like a bat or an owl today? What do you think? What do you think? Do you feel like a bat or an owl? Not good. Okay, I gotcha. You're feeling like an owl. Okay. I'm feeling more like an owl as well. Yeah. What do you think, Kieran? Are you feeling like a bat or an owl? Nothing. All right, that's been about 30 seconds. We can have our other partner share now. All right. I think I feel like a bat today. And everything. You like my tail? Thank you. Thank you so much. I like your blue shirt. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Now that we've got our voices warmed up, we're a little bit looser. Our activity today is a variation on something that's called Yes, Let's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's be a something, and then we're all just going to be that thing. And again, that can look like what you want it to be. I'm going to give you some kind of abstract ones. We'll have some fun with it. So if you would like to, I would invite you to stand so we can get our bodies moving a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with some obvious ones maybe. So let's all be wolves. Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Now, let's all be cats. Meow, meow, meow. All right. Lovely kitty cats. I love it. Okay. Now let's get a little bit more interesting. Let's all be pumpkins. What does your pumpkin look like? Nice. Let's all be a mountain. Maybe we're multiple mountains, a mountain range. Nice. Yeah. Let's all be rain. Beautiful. I love what we've got going on. All right. Let's all be butterflies. What beautiful butterflies we have. All right, let's all be Unitarian Universalists. Beautiful. I know. All right. Thank you so much for playing with me, everybody. We're all going to stay in the sanctuary today. Go ahead and head back to your seats.
Well, one last time. Here I am, Mary Overton, leading the stewardship team here at First UU. We had the most perfect weather last weekend, didn't we, for Celebration Sunday? I hope you were there and you felt us living love. Now for our stewardship update. I want to start out by thanking everyone who has made a pledge for 2026, and especially those of you that have increased your pledge. Your support for this church is truly appreciated. We truly are living love. And I'm happy to say that as of this morning, we're at 98% of our $825,000 goal. However, we still need $17,000 to fund our church at current levels. So if you haven't pledged, please do. This is the final week of our pledge appeal. You can use the QR code that's here in your order of service, or you can go to austinuu.org and pledge, or stop by the stewardship table and fill out a paper form. And if that doesn't inspire you to do it here, we will be contacting you later on one last time. But we need to know what your commitment is for 2026 so that the budget can be prepared and then voted on by the whole congregation in December. So it really is important that we know what your commitment is for next year. And finally, I want to thank our stewardship team for all of their work to make this pledge drive successful. Please stand or raise your hand if you're on our stewardship team. And now, it's time for our offering. This is the time during the service when we commit to the mission and ministries of this church by making an offering. We give out of our own so that together we might build a better world. If you are visiting with us today, please allow the plate to pass you by. You are our guests. You can give in several ways. You can give online or by texting your contribution using the instructions that will be showing on the screen during the offering, or if you're here in person, by placing an offering in the basket the ushers are about to pass. Here in the sanctuary, the ushers will now collect our offering. Your offerings have been given in love, and your offerings have been received with gratitude. Our reading today is Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I don't know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
And now, kids and adults and kids of all ages, is the time in our service where we start to calm our body and our mind. It's where we breathe together. Let's take 2 long breaths together. Let's go in and out. As you breathe, sometimes it's helpful to put your hand on your heart and maybe your other hand on your belly. Just breathing in, breathing out, noticing the rise and the fall of your breath. Maybe you can imagine it as a shape or color coming into your body. Filling your chest. Maybe on this next breath, you take it so deeply it fills your belly too. And now let's just breathe together. I now invite you to light candles, candles representing sorrow or joy or hope or resilience, whatever it is you need to honor. As we light candles, I invite you to keep in mind members of our community who are either in sorrow and all of those experiencing joy. Continuing this sacred quiet as our music plays. Let's hold the quiet throughout our meditative time and even when the music stops. one last candle for those who have no one to light a candle for them. Happy almost Halloween, everybody. I love this time of year. I'd prefer maybe cooler temperatures, but we can't have everything. Halloween is, in fact, my favorite holiday, maybe because it was taken away from me for so long, I don't know. But it doesn't have the stress or the commercialism of Christmas, and it doesn't make me feel ethically weird like Halloween. And I find it a lot easier to fall asleep than when I'm trying to do it to fireworks. And we get to dress up, and we get to give candy to kids or other people who are dressed up. We get to see a parade of cute costumes or funny costumes or homemade costumes or weird costumes or silly costumes. I love it. And don't even get me started on the books or the podcast because, it's my favorite time of the year. But I think the reason I really love it is because it's about play. It's a use your imagination and get into your joy kind of holiday. It's playful, and I think we need play. Because play is a pressure release valve. And who's not feeling pressure right now? Whether it's at school or your relationships or just points randomly to everything. Things are a lot right now. Play can help us to manage how we respond to the world. And it connects us. It connects us to ourselves, it connects us to each other, and I believe it connects us to what we want. And because play is so powerful, because it is this pressure release valve, I believe it's a powerful spiritual practice. A powerful spiritual practice for everyone. Because it helps to relieve our stress and build resilience. When we play, we release endorphins, which are those hormones that make us feel really good. And it also helps us to decrease cortisol, which is a hormone that comes up when we're stressed. And if that hormone is there for a very long time, over a long period of time, it does all sorts of damage to our bodies and our mind. Play, just like the breathing that we do every week, is about regulating our nervous system. And that improves our overall well-being and makes us more resilient. In fact, UNICEF found that play helps protect children from the negative impacts of prolonged exposure to stress. And Lynn Barnett found that highly playful adults, they feel the same stressors as everyone else, but they appear to experience and react to it differently, allowing those stressors to roll more easily off their back. Stress regulation and resilience is so important to our spiritual well-being because if we are not regulating ourselves, if we are not taking the time to boost our mood and decrease our stress levels, then we are essentially just ping-ponging back and forth between every stressor of the day. Every bit of bad news. And y'all, that's a recipe for burnout. It's a recipe for apathy. And it really makes it hard to live in alignment with our values. And it certainly doesn't help us answer that beautiful question that Mary Oliver seems to always ask us, which is, what am I going to do with my one wild and precious life? I mean, I guess the answer could be, I allowed all the sadness in the world to just kind of jerk me around until I died. But do we really want to do that? That is why play is a spiritual practice. Our spiritual practices are those things that help us to feel centered, that help us to slow down so that we're not just reacting to everything, but rather we're meeting it with intention. Play's stress-relieving properties help us to put things into perspective. Play does that and so much more. Light, it connects. When we play, we are connecting to ourselves. What do I like? What don't I like? Does this work for me or not? What does it feel like when I dress up like this? Am I powerful? Am I scary? Do I like that feeling? What does it feel like when I move my body this way or that way? What does it feel like when I hold this instrument in my hand and I make it make this sound or that sound? Listening to all the musicians today, I can imagine that finding that sound felt really good and interesting. And it must have required some level to play because y'all look like you were having fun. When we're playing, we're learning. What do we like? What do we not like? And this process happens all throughout our lives. When I was a kid, I could spin forever. It was my favorite pastime. It was just the best. Now that feels a lot more like punishment, right? We learn about ourselves when we engage with play. Even when we're learning, that's not something I like anymore. That's not so fun for me anymore. And play connects us to each other. We have a big impact on the other's emotional state. I'm sure you've experienced this in your own life. Because I know if I'm coming home and I'm stressed, inevitably it's going to stress out my kids or vice versa. But when we center ourselves together, when we play together, we are bonding with each other. We are experiencing joy and building trust with one another. We're releasing endorphins together. And all of that leads to co-regulation, meaning we can work together to bring ourselves to feel more joy, to feel more happiness. And play helps us to connect to those things that are bigger than ourselves, like our vision for the future. I'm thinking about how we spend time dreaming of the world we want. Not just reacting, but dreaming. Marsha P. Johnson, a trans and queer activist who may have thrown the first brick at Stonewall, is up for debate, but she used to gather her friends and they would pool their money together and they'd rent a room for just a little bit, but they would go there and they would imagine, what world do we want to have? They were dreaming, they were playing together, imagining something better than what they were experiencing. And of course, lately there are the frogs, of which I've seen at least one here today. You know those frog people that dress up in the big frumpy costumes at Portland? Those people looking silly, standing in front of what are very intimidating looking people in riot gear. Their use of play and playfulness is doing so many things. First, it's all giving us a sense of joy and hope, am I right? Second, it's highlighting how weird this all is, right? This juxtaposition of the way these silly frogs are in opposition to these intimidating federal agents is a way to use play and whimsy to highlight how absurd this response is. According to L.M. Boggins, these outfits are just the latest iterations in a long history of using whimsy and humor in political protest. They called it tactical frivolity, which is my new favorite term. But what I really find beautiful about these frogs and axolotls and all of those things is what that form of playful protest is doing. What it's bringing into the world in the here and now, the world we're hoping for. A world where our nervous systems are regulated, where joy and humor are abundant and come easily, all because we're living in a more just and more beautiful world. So when those people don their frog costumes or their axolotl costumes and they bring that vision of the world, the one that we are working so hard for, into our lives, into the here and now, connecting us to one another and pointing us to the higher things that we're working for. A more beautiful, a more just, and a more playful world. Now, I hope that was a convincing argument. And I know that some of you are probably like me, and you find play a bit challenging. You know, I was really good at it when I was a kid. I could play all day, and I probably did. But then work and responsibility starts to fill up my day, and it kind of just got moved out. But I don't think it's gone. I just think that play looks different when you're an adult. And I think that we have to be more intentional about carving space for it in our lives. You know, my least favorite question is when someone asks me, "What do you do for fun?" Because I feel a lot of pressure to answer that with an answer that actually sounds like fun to the other person. Now, recently I found roller skating, and I think that that's an adequate response. But the truth is, y'all, it's real hot, and I cannot handle a roller rink, so I don't actually do it that much. Yes, it's fun, but I'm not really doing it, so then I just feel bad about myself. But here's the thing, that play is just anything, according to the Institute of Play, and no, I did not make that up. The National Institute of Play says, play is a state of mind that one has when absorbed in an activity that provides enjoyment and a suspension of time. And that is self-motivated, so you want to do it again and again. I think if you think hard, you probably have those things in life. Maybe they don't look like spinning or playing with action figures, but I bet you have it in your life. Because play is anything that feels good and brings you joy and helps you focus on that joy and something that you're drawn to do. So while I do love skating, I don't do it much, but I love it. I also find a sense of joy and pleasure, and I will lose all sense of time if I'm reading a good book, or I'm letting myself think about big questions like, do we have UU saints? And if we do, who are they? And if we don't, why don't we? That was actually my favorite question at the question box. I feel joyful and motivated when I'm spending time with some of my friends. And very, very often, I will get in the joy of writing a sermon, which feels really bad to tell y'all, but it's true. I can write a sermon and go into this place of joy and pleasure, and I will lose all sense of time, which is not good because I have kids to pick up. But even writing a sermon, not always, but often, can be playful to me. Aren't I lucky? So play is a powerful, and it's personal. One girl's spinning is another woman's terror, so to speak. So we have to find what works for us so that we can gain all the beautiful, stress-relieving, resilience-making, and connection-creating benefits of it. And we gotta do it often because y'all, our nervous systems need it. You need it. As people who are committed to a more just and more beautiful world, we need it. We need to imbue our lives with what we are trying to create. May we find ways to bring play into our lives so that we might live out our one wild and precious life to its fullest. Amen.
And now, please rise in either body or spirit, and let us sing our closing hymn together, number 311. Let it be a dance. join me in the words by which we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we hold in our hearts until we are together again.
May you, even in the midst of so much stress, stop to play. And may your play bring you back to yourself. May it fill your cup, and may it give you strength and resolve in spades. And may it remind you of all that you are working for. Go and play.